cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
More families, many more families, are going to lose loved ones. We've done what can be done.
I can't be the only one who sees a link here, right?
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Had to go number 2.
Good to know.
Is this thing a dog?
A dog? What kind of dog do you think it is, mate?
I'm gonna go with Afghan Hound.
Oh my god, is it a werewolf?
Yo, they sent me next to a werewolf! Yo, let me out!
Hey, he's not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel. He's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but, you know.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of my most anticipated movies of the year. It is the brand new entry into the DC Extended Universe, helmed by one of the MCU's poster boys, James Gunn, except this time he's kind of doing a soft reboot on one of DC's lesser beloved films in the series, The Suicide Squad. Task Force X are on a new mission to infiltrate a Southern American country run by its military, but they are housing a secret that could threaten the lives of millions across the world. Right, so it's no secret that Warner Brothers kind of dropped the ball with the first Suicide Squad movie. They seemingly screwed over director David Ayer to hop on this trend that was kind of created by the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, featuring a ragtag group of quote-unquote heroes, also featuring a jukebox soundtrack that didn't really make any sense when it came out in 2016. It wasn't a great film, it was poorly edited, stunk of studio interference. So then that begged the question of how can Warner Brothers kind of redeem themselves with this specific property? Well, you hired James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a pretty damn good start. So just a short history lesson for you of how this even came about. Basically, a few people online tried to cancel James Gunn after finding a bunch of controversial tweets from his past. I think it was literally like decades ago. That Gunn has since apologized for, but Disney immediately jumped on it, fired Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, of which now he has been rehired because of the public outcry about it. But in that space of time, Warner Brothers just swooped in, threw a bunch of money at James Gunn and say, hey, here are the keys to literally everything in our DC catalog. Take what you want, make what you want, no strings attached. And now we have The Suicide Squad, a foul-mouthed, darkly funny, and one of the most violent superhero movies I think I've ever seen in my life. So it's exactly what you would expect when you let James Gunn off any sort of lead. And it's brilliant. The Suicide Squad is probably the most entertaining 2 and a bit hours you can have in a cinema screen this summer. Or even I'd go so far as to say in 2021 so far. I had a blast watching this film. It is definitely for adults only. Gunn wasn't messing around when he was saying that every character can be expendable. There is so much violence in this film, graphic violence, that I think it would make Quentin Tarantino blush. But just like the magic that Gunn pulled off with Guardians of the Galaxy of taking lesser known heroes and basically throwing them into the spotlight that we all know their names now, he does exactly the same here. We do get some familiar faces pop back up. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn once again crushes it in this role. At this point, she just is the definitive Harley Quinn, no questions asked, and she gets plenty of time to shine here, including a potential Hall of Fame action sequence for the character. Joel Kinnaman also returns as Rick Flag. Now, in the first film, he was pretty much a stone-faced, really bland and dull soldier type that had absolutely no personality whatsoever, and thankfully in this film he gets a personality. There's wit to him, there's charm, and a lot of that is due to Gunn's writing of the character and how well Kinnaman is able to put that across in the screen. I didn't give two shits about his character in the first film, but now I actually enjoy the time that we spend with him and care about how his character progresses in the film. Jai Courtney also pops back up as Captain Boomerang, as does Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, who is just, yet again, such a formidable presence. She is basically God to the members of the squad. As for the newbies, how long you got? Okay, I will say this, and this isn't a spoiler because it is literally spelled out for you in the tagline of the poster. Try not to get too attached to a lot of these characters because there's a shit ton of death in this film. But that doesn't stop Gunn from giving these fresh faces plenty of fun to have. Idris Elba plays Bloodsport, an expert marksman that is covered in gadgets that can transform into almost any weapon, and I thought the look of his character was badass. And not that we needed reminding, but Elba yet again proves just how much of a leading presence, a leading man presence that he has. Because of all of the members in the squad, he's probably the closest thing that we have to a main character, even if this is still an ensemble piece. John Cena is also able to redeem himself after his less than stellar performance in F9, because the character of Peacemaker and the way Gunn writes the character really plays to Cena's strengths as an actor, and he gets some amazing zingers in there too. Daniela Melancholia plays Ratcatcher 2, a character who I really wasn't sure if it was going to work or not, but more for lie, because at this point I should have realized that one of Gunn's strengths is taking characters out of obscurity and making them so emotionally interesting. She's definitely got that appeal. She had so much warmth to a film that isn't afraid to blow someone's face clean off. And then there's King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone. And it's amazing. I'm not going to say too much about the character because, I mean, just experience it for yourself. But King Shark is one of the best parts in this film. Now, like I said, there are plenty of other characters, and if I wanted to, I could cram my thoughts about them all in here, but I would be here for hours. It shouldn't come as much of a surprise because Gunn, just as he is talented as writing characters, is also talented at crafting some amazing action sequences. It opens as it means to go on in a harrowing, darkly hilarious, and simultaneously f***ed up action sequence to kick things off, and the pace never really drops from that moment on. We get a gorgeous sequence with Harley Quinn as she's basically going from room to room cleaning house, and the final battle is just stupidly entertaining. Because at this point now in his career, Gunn can throw everything, including the kitchen sink, and he's got such an incredible hit rate that most of the stuff will stick and it will land brilliantly. But in amongst the violence, the chaos, and pink starfish from space, just go with it. Gunn still manages to cram his film full of heart and emotion. Each of the main group of characters feel like they have a purpose. The main group in particular all get their own arcs. They all grow as individuals from where they start the movie. It may often feel like they are just telling us their backstory and taking it in turns in doing so, but that does have an effect by the end of it because of this threat that looms over them. They could die at pretty much any instant, and lots of them do, which actually proves quite sad. As opposed to what the poster may say, you do get invested in some of these arcs, and so when they're kind of almost suddenly ripped away, yeah, it kind of leaves you reeling a little bit, which is a testament to Gunn's writing, how well written and balanced this screenplay is. It's honestly a really, really impressive accomplishment. However, though, it's not perfect. It's great fun, but there are a couple of flaws here or there. One of them, it's weird as shit, which for me, I didn't overly mind. For some, it's going to be an issue, and I'm not sure how you're going to fare. But for me, I feel like Starro, the giant pink starfish from space. For me, that it was definitely on the line, almost tipping over into the point where I couldn't buy into it anymore. Also, Gunn is known for his soundtracks, and whilst the selection of songs in this film are fine, there aren't any of those iconic needle drops like we've seen in some of his past films like Guardians. But yeah, maybe I need to watch it again and it have more of an effect, but I feel like it was missing kind of some really badass cues in there. There was also one directing technique that I thought was a bit overplayed. Gunn structures his film into chapters and has quite little nifty graphics that appear on screen. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought that was actually pretty cool. But we do get a few moments where we'll see a sequence of events focusing on a couple members of the squad, and then we'll cut about 10-15 minutes back in time to then see what was happening with the other members of the squad. And when it happened the first time, it was pretty cool. Then when it kind of started doing it again and again, it felt more like a tired gimmick. And honestly, I don't think it was necessarily needed. You could have just had it cut in between the different groups and it wouldn't have felt any different. But negatives aside, The Suicide Squad is one of the most entertaining films you could see all summer. Sure, it's completely derivative, but all it wants to do is have fun. Bloody, gory, violent fun. The cast of characters are fantastically selected and brought to life. The story keeps it simple to focus on the characters and the action, but this is a tour de force from James Gunn. He's really worked his arse off to make The Suicide Squad one of the best entries into the DCEU. Overall, I'm going to give The Suicide Squad an 8.5 out of 10. Anyway, guys, those were my thoughts on The Suicide Squad. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? I know it's yet to come out in some areas, so let's keep the comments spoiler free. But let me know, what do you think? And my question to you, who's your favourite member of The Suicide Squad? And I'm going to class it from both films that we have. Probably I'm going to lean towards Harley Quinn because she's just one of the most interesting that they have. However, King Shark definitely comes a close second. But as always, thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.